Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. We're here with an in-depth tactical review of the Europa League quarterfinal between Arsenal and Napoli. It was an exciting match with two great European managers attempting to outwit each other. But before we get into the fun stuff, I'd appreciate it if you like, subscribed and shared the video as we're trying to grow the channel. If you enjoyed this, take a look at the analysis of Spurs vs Man City and United vs Barcelona. Anyway, let's get into it. Arsenal hosted second in Serie A Napoli in the quarterfinals. Both teams had managers who are highly experienced and have had great success in European competitions, so a great match was expected. The teams are hard to split, but on the night Arsenal put in an imperious performance to come away with a 2-0 home win thanks to Aaron Ramsey and a Koulibaly own goal. These goals came about due to astute tactics by Emery, but let's start with the lineups. On paper, Arsenal lined up in a 3-5-2, with the back three of Sokratis, Koscielny and Monreal, flanked by Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac. The midfield trio was Ozil, Ramsey and Torreira, and the attacking threat was provided by Lacazette and Aubameyang. On paper, Napoli used a 4-4-2 with Mertens and Insigne up front, a midfield four of Calhoun, Zielinski, Ruiz and Allen, while the defense consisted of Rui, Koulibaly, Maksimovic and Hisage. Now, let's look at the in-game tactics, focusing on the four main areas of tactical periodization: defensive organization, defensive transition, offensive transition, and offensive organization. Now, how did Arsenal's defensive organization interact with Napoli's offensive organization? When Napoli had time to build up, their plan was to split their centre-backs and drop Allan into the space created to give him time on the ball. The plan here was that this would draw out Arsenal's midfield as Ozil closed him down and Torreira and Ramsey dealt with the other midfielders. This would open up space between the lines, which is a region that Mertens, Insigne and Calhoun love to play in. However, Arsenal didn't let this happen. Their tactic from the first minute was to press high from back to front. The whole team moved forward as a unit, not giving Napoli the time or space to create these controlled passing lanes into their forwards. This is shown by how high up the field they consistently created turnovers. Arsenal was able to do this well because their front two and midfield three would create a numerical advantage in the center of the pitch, not allowing Napoli to play out. Insigne would try to drop deep to even this out. However, Arsenal would win the ball before it got to him. In scenarios where they did manage to escape the press, Napoli still encountered problems. On the attack, they often shifted to a 4-3-3 with Insigne drifting to an inside left channel and Calhoun on the opposing side. Hisage would join in to create an overload against the wing-back. However, Ramsey or Torreira were often available to double up. This meant that space opened up on the left-hand side. However, Ancelotti chose to keep Rui more defensive. One of the inherent advantages of a 4-4-2 versus a 3-5-2 would be the ability to double up against a fullback, but by keeping Rui back, this nullified the possibility of a quick switch and overload. That is, until the second half when Ancelotti decided to free Rui and he joined in the attacks, which caused Arsenal problems. When Arsenal did come under sustained pressure, they dealt with it well. The 3-5-2 quickly became a 5-3-2 or even a 5-5 at times as both forwards dropped back to assist. However, as the match wore on, Ancelotti attempted a number of different tactics. To counter the press, he opted for a more direct counter-attacking style, looking for quick passes down the channel. This resulted in a number of threatening scenarios, including a cross Zielinski should have scored from, with an XG of 0.48. Speaking of Zielinski, he found himself in this position because he would tuck in narrow on the attack, freeing up Rui to finally join in the attacks in the second half by creating the space. When Milic came on, he often dropped deep to link up play, freeing these same channels for the wide players. But what tactic did Arsenal employ to allow them to be so dominant offensively with 7 shots on target? Arsenal's defensive and attacking transition was smooth. Napoli played into their hands by using a deep, narrow 4-4-2 on defense. This meant Arsenal had time to build up from the back, with the centre-backs playing high into midfield, which did two things. It allowed them to have more numbers in midfield, and also making it easy for them to compress the space and press high if there was a turnover. Ramsey was key to their build-up, often dropping away from Napoli's block to pick up the ball away from pressure. He linked up well with Ozil, who controlled the space between the lines, and would receive the ball, draw defenders, allowing Ramsey to break forward into threatening positions. But overall, the high press was their best attacking weapon. They won the ball high up the pitch often. This actually led to both of their goals. The Arsenal midfield would step up and win the ball high, and the fullbacks would quickly join into the attack to provide a cross into the forwards. The forwards also often pulled into the channels to create space centrally for their midfielders to run into. For their second goal, Torreira won the ball high up the pitch, and as you can see, Lacazette moves into the channels to create space. This allows him to cut back in and have a shot that eventually results in the goal. Overall, in this matchup, Emery came out easily on top, providing a pressing masterclass to Carlo Ancelotti. However, they didn't fully capitalize, meaning Napoli are still alive for the second leg. Join us next week to see how that goes. If you enjoyed the video, take a look at the breakdown of Man City vs Spurs and Man United and Barcelona. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. And remember, keep it simple.